wake up, wake up. France is still taking millions of dollars out of Africa. And some of those nations sort of unconsciously are still looking unto them. Some of the nations that colonized them, even though the nation that colonized them don't really want to let them go. Okay, like Germans, British, the Dutch, France, and they still somewhat controlling them, and they call it global economy, but it's a way of controlling those nations. They want to keep Africa poor. You see, they're still controlling them. They're controlling them through their consciousness. You know, and some of the folks, not only in the U.S. and in the Caribbean, South America, not only the nations that have been colonized, you can see it in them, but you also can see it in Africa. A lot of them don't remember the culture, the things that sustain them for many years. So when you go back under that consciousness alone will sustain you. Okay? And the consciousness that they created for you when they enslaved you and when they colonized you, that they brought you under that to subdue you, to control you. Even though we resisted, and we fought, but they didn't give up. They kept working at it, and they said, okay, we're going to make you citizens now. Okay? And in a sense, it's you're coming up under a controlled state. Okay? They're calling you a citizen, but they're still mistreating you. You look down through the history, you'll find out that we've fought their wars in this country, in the United States. But when we came back, for instance, when we went in World War II, we fought, and the folks we fought against, they came over here and they got favors, and our soldiers came back, and we didn't get favors, we got mistreated. Okay? And some of them was hung in their uniforms. You figured if you fight for a country, you gave your life, but they're controlling you and they're using you. You see, they exploit the system. The system exploits people, and they exploit you and they use you for their own interests. Okay. It says here, what he says, from their life experiences, a group develops a set of rules and procedures for meeting their needs. The set of rules and procedures, together with a supporting set of ideas and values, is called a culture. Ideals and values, things that you value. You see, a lot of those things were good. Like I said, a man came over here from Africa, and as in 1700s, and things that he had in his culture files, his bag, benefited the whole country. It benefited the European nations, because even when the British was over in India, they had the same part of the same culture that they had in Africa, because they was able to treat smallpox, because they had gotten together, and most likely, but the Europeans didn't know about it. So some things that they stripped from them, everything was good. It was of use. But they didn't want you to know who you are. They wanted to subdue you So therefore, they said you was an animal. They didn't treat you like a man. You wasn't considered a human. And so we're talking about consciousness. And that African consciousness, that's where mankind began in Africa. So therefore, he gained that consciousness. Okay? It wasn't a consciousness that went around the world killing peoples, exploiting peoples. That's not the kind of consciousness. That consciousness that came to Africa to colonize the peoples there, it was foreign to them. They was kind to the peoples that came. But the peoples that came to Africa to colonize them with a Bible in their hand and a cross in their hands, but they wanted to get them under the consciousness, that European consciousness, so they can be subdued. Okay, and do it little by little. Say, well, I don't need to be free. If you was born here in America, in the United States, and you went to school here, you was trained by the oppressor, then you need to be free. So you may think, I don't need to be free. Free from what? Well, see, they can control you, and you don't know you're under that control. You see, you need wake up. You need to wake up. Wake up. See, when you sleep, you might have went to sleep last night. I don't know. Maybe you stayed up all night. But when you sleep, notice you don't realize that you sleep. You know when you wake up, unless you're dreaming, but you're not sleeping there thinking, oh, I'm asleep. Oh, I'm resting so such sweet sleep. No, you're not. You don't even know you're sleeping. It's just like it is in this world. The reality that you're living in, okay, you think, oh, everything is normal. Well, they cemented everything like this. We got poor peoples. They're not really poor peoples. They have been oppressed. Oh, I'm poor. You're not really poor. You're oppressed. You see? And then they tell you to go to church. When you go to church, they say, oh, you're just struggling. You're struggling and because the devil is causing this. No, the oppressor is causing this. The oppressor is your devil. Okay? That's why you struggle. Someone is oppressing you. Okay, you look around in the land that you're living in, the country that you're living in. If the country that you're living in, the Europeans own mostly everything, then you are up underneath oppression. You see, they conquered this land, and when they said emancipation, but they didn't give you anything. They didn't let you go free. You see, they didn't give you shoes to wear. You was barefooted. You walked away barefooted. They didn't give you no clothes. They didn't give you no soap, no water, no food. They didn't give you anything. They didn't give you no land. There's no emancipation without land. Okay? And one country that left Africa, they wanted to be independent. Okay, but they destroyed everything they could before they left there. That's what they did. They stopped the drainage system up. They did all kind of stuff. You want to be free? Okay. Have it your way. Okay. But see, they left there. Those nations left there. But the people is still up under that European consciousness. They still somewhat, even though they left there many years ago, but because they have not come from underneath that consciousness, and they have not got up underneath the African consciousness, they're still like controlled by them. Say, why is Africa, my people, the motherland, okay, I'm part of that continent. That's where I'm from. Some folks say, well, yeah, I'm a native of American. Well, we all from Africa. If you're a native here in the United States and your ancestors is from here, well, actually your ancestors is from Africa. We all are from Africa. That's the motherland. That's why everybody got to, every nation got, most of the resources are there. Most of the resources are there. Okay. So, what was I saying? Well, anyway, let me get back to this. I'll think about that later. Okay, so they strip you of your culture. They had to do that in order to control you. Even though it was valuable, they had to do it in order to control you. Okay? To strip you of your culture. Okay? And to control your behavior. Okay? They wanted to subdue you, and they had to do that to control your behavior. You was brainwashed. And they do it little by little. The oppressor subdue you. He does it little by little. He controls the consciousness of the people. Not only the people at the bottom, but the so-called middle class. You see, there's not really no middle class. They just say that. It's control. It's no middle class. If you got billions